so shocked when the Lord sent them out, and they came back telling them, you know, even the unclean spirits, they are subject unto us. Because this was a whole new thing here. You know, nobody had been able to do anything with these unclean spirits. So now, they asked, you know, what kind of new thing is this? Even the unclean spirits, they obey him. Let's go over to Matthew chapter 8 now, and we'll pick it up at verse 28. Matthew 8, and we'll begin reading at verse 28. 8 and 28. You know, even the unclean spirit, you know, they even ask permission from the Lord before they go and do things oftentimes. Can we do this? Lord said, yeah. He said, no. Let's go to Matthew chapter 8, and we'll pick it up at verse 28. 8 and 28. 8 and 28. Okay, go ahead and read it.
And when he was come to the other side, into the country of the Gergesenes, there met him two possessed with devils, coming out of the tombs, exceeding fierce, so that no man might pass by that way.
Now, you know, this man, he was possessed, they was possessed with devils, and these devils was fierce. Go ahead and read on.
And behold, they cried out, saying, what have we to do with thee, Jesus, thou Son of God? Art thou come hither to torment us before the time?
See what it said? They asked him, have you come here to torment us before the time? Because they understood that there was a time when the Lord going to torment them. They understood that they going in the fire. They understand that. So now, but they know that there's a time when they are going in the fire, and they're asking him, have you come to torment us before time? Go ahead and read on.
Verse 30.
Go ahead.
And there was a good way off from them an herd of many swine feeding. So the devils besought him, saying, if thou cast us out, suffer us to go away into the herd of swine.
See what they asked him? Said, you know, Lord, if you're going to cast us out, well, let us go into the herd of swine. So they're asking him. You understand what I'm saying? They couldn't just do what they wanted to do. They had to ask him, can we go into the herd of swine? And he going to say, yeah, go ahead on. Go ahead. Read on.
And he said unto them, go.
And he said unto them, yeah, go. But they asked his permission first, didn't they?
Yes, sir.
They said, can we go into, because they can't just operate on their own. Lord, just do not allow that. You understand what I'm saying? If the Lord just turned Satan loose and let him run amok, he would take over the whole creation. So then the Lord limits his operation. You understand? So now they ask him, well, can we, since you're going to cast us out, can we go into the herd of swine? Jesus said, go. Go ahead, read on.
And when they were come out, they went into the herd of swine. And behold, the whole herd of swine ran violently down a steep place into the sea and perished in the waters.
So now, let's go and look at another thing here. Now, let's go this time to Job chapter 1, and we'll pick it up at verse 6. Job 1 and verse 6. Because, you know, I just want you to understand that Satan, he can only do what the Lord allow him to do. The Lord limits his limitation, and there are times even Satan will approach the Lord and ask him, can he do this? Because he realized he can't just do it on his own. Let's go to Job chapter 1, and we'll start reading. Job chapter 1. Job chapter 1, and we'll begin reading at verse 6. Job 1, and we'll pick it up at verse 6. 1 and 6. Just so you'll understand, Lord ain't created no being that he don't have no control over. You know, Lord ain't made no Frankenstein. You understand what I'm saying? He created some monster, and this monster, he can just run around and do whatever he want to do, and God ain't got no control over him.
Yes, sir.
Lord created this being. He created him an upright being, but he turned wicked. You understand what I'm saying? So, but the Lord have not created anything that he do not have control over. Let's start reading at Job 1 and 6. And the reason I said it, because some people seem to think that Satan can run amok. He can do whatever he chooses to do, and God can't stop it. At any time God chooses to stop him, he can stop him. And he is only allowed to do what God will allow him to do. And he cannot go beyond that. Let's start reading at Job chapter 1 and begin at verse 6. 1 and 6. Go ahead and read.
Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them.
Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Satan, whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, from going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it.
So much for the devil being down under the ground, with a fire going and a pitchfork.
Yes,
You understand
sir.
what I'm saying? He said from walking to and fro in the earth and from walking up and down in it, right? That's what Satan is. He is not down in the ground with a fire and a pitchfork.
Yes, sir.
He is walking to and fro in the earth. And the Lord even inspired Peter to write that he is like a roaring lion going about seeking whom he may devour.
Yes,
Go ahead and read some more.
And the Lord said unto Satan,
Go ahead.
Hast thou considered my servant Job,
Uh-huh.
that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil?
Go ahead.
Then Satan answered the Lord and said, Doth Job fear God for naught?
Now, the Lord said, have you looked at my servant Job, a perfect and an upright man? And Satan said, well, do he fear God for nothing? You got your hedges around him. Why wouldn't he fear you? Go ahead and read on.
Hast not thou made an hedge about him,
Uh-huh.
and about his house,
Go ahead.
and about all that he hath on every side?
Uh-huh.
Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land.
You've been good to him. You've done everything for him, so why wouldn't he fear you? But look at what Satan said. Go ahead and read.
But put forth thine hand now,
Uh-huh.
and touch all that he hath,
Go ahead.
and he will curse thee to thy face.
Look, Satan said, well, you know what, Lord, I'll tell you what. Just put forth your hand and touch everything that he have, and he will curse you to your face. Go ahead and read on.
And the Lord said unto Satan,
Uh-huh.
Behold, all that he hath is in thy power.
Go ahead.
Only upon himself put not forth thine hand.
You see what the Lord, he said, I tell you what, you can put your hand on everything that he have, but don't touch him. And I guarantee you, Satan did not touch it, but he touched everything that Job had. He did it to his house, he did it to his children, he did it to his cow, everything that he had. In fact, go ahead and read it.
Bottom of 12. So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord.
Uh-huh.
And there was a day when his sons and his daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house.
Go ahead.
And there came a messenger unto Job and said, The oxen were plowing and the asses feeding beside them.
Uh-huh.
And the Sabeans fell upon them and took them away. Yea, they have slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, The fire of God is fallen from heaven, and hath burned up the sheep and the servants, and consumed them, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee.
Now, who is this that's doing it? It's not the Lord that's doing this, is it?
Sir.
This is Satan, because the Lord told Satan, touch everything that he got, but don't touch him. So now, who is this that's doing this? This is Satan that's doing it. But the Lord done set a limitation on how far he can go, right?
Yes, sir.
He said you can touch everything that he had. So now Satan has killed his sheep, killed his cow. He going to even kill his children. Go ahead and read on.
While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said,
Uh-huh.
The Chaldeans made out three bands and fell upon the camels, and have carried them away, yea, and slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee.
Uh-huh.
While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, Thy sons and thy daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house, and behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness, and smote the four corners of the house, and it fell upon the young men, and they are dead, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee.
See, people didn't realize that, God gave Satan this kind of power. Look at all the stuff. He done made fire come down from heaven. And he done sent a great wind and then blew down Job's eldest son's house and then killed all of his children. But yet the Lord said, you can do anything you want to his substance, but do not touch him. Go ahead and read on.
Then Job arose and rent his mantle,
Uh-huh.
and shaved his head,
Go
and
ahead.
fell down upon the ground, and worshipped, and said, Naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord.
I don't know, you understand? I don't know if any of us around can say this. You got everything. And the Lord done allowed Satan to destroy it all. And all Job said was, naked came I into this world, and naked I'm leaving out of it. The Lord have given, and the Lord have taken away, and blessed be the name of the Lord.
Sir.
That's a hard thing. You understand what I'm saying? But the Lord even called Job an upright man.
Yes,
if this
sir.
ain't upright, I don't know what is.
Yes, sir. That's upright,
Not that he was not without fault, because you read all the story of Job, he did have some fault. But nevertheless, the Lord said he was an upright man. He was an upright man. Go ahead and read on.
Verse 22.
Go ahead.
In all this Job sinned not, nor charged God foolishly.
Now, with all that, Job did not sin, neither did he charge God foolishly. Let's go into the second chapter now and begin at verse 1. So now Satan did everything. He destroyed everything that Job had, didn't he? But did he put his hand